Coach, I guess just what did you make of the performance today on both ends of the floor, particularly in the second half when you guys broke things open?
Yeah, I thought we really looked like a connected team. We just talked post-game just about how with this year's team you might not know when or where your role might be. We might be a team that, I thought Jalen Graham, when he went in, he really helped change the complexion of the game. And he hasn't played much of late. Kamani, the last two games, was phenomenal. But tonight was the first time that full roster was together, and I thought we looked like it the first half. I thought we struggled a little bit with trying to figure things out, and I know I struggled as well with substitution patterns and stuff, but I thought the second half the guys settled in and they played with great offensive freedom. And I thought we did a better job defensively on number 10, Amari Moore, who's a really, really talented offensive player.
Nick told us, obviously he got his feet wet on Monday, but he said he felt like this was really his debut. Just what did you think about the progress he's made over the last few days and just his performance overall tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough on him, the minutes restriction, I know he didn't like. But also I think that first game for any players, is a challenge, and tonight he played with great freedom. I think even mentally, I think he knew there was no minute restrictions on him, and he changes our team offensively with his ability to make threes and beat people off the bounce.
Plus, it seems like your team gets stronger and better in the second halves of games. What do you attribute to that? I mean, or is it because you didn't necessarily had a slow start today, but it was still a tight game, and then you just blow it open? Seems like that's been the playbook a lot lately.
Well, I think a couple things, Kevin. I think one, conditioning is good. I think in the last couple of years we've been a really good second half team. Especially coming out of halftime, I think our team plays with a little bit of an edge. And then the depth, we just keep talking those huddles about, hey, wear them down, keep playing hard, and you hope a fresh body. It's been Kamani the last couple games, and then tonight I thought Graham's fresh body, maybe I don't know when I put him in, like the 13 mark or 12.5-minute mark, whatever it was. I thought you could tell he was really, really fresh.
And follow up on that, when you look at the shooting percentages across the board from the field from three free throws, where do you see this as far as a trend or a lucky night?
No, I think we're getting better offensively. I really do. I think that, when you have, as many freshmen as we do, I think that's gonna be, we should be continuing to improve. And just with so many new faces, I knew the first 4 or 5 games offensively, and I think we can keep improving in that area, Kevin. I don't think like tonight. I thought we took open threes. I thought we, 197 passes tonight is close to one of our top passing games. And I think when you share the ball and let the game come to you, your percentages will go up as well. And Brazil was phenomenal off the bounce as a trail man.
Kind of led me right to my question. Just what did you make of Trevin tonight? I think it's the third time he scored 20-plus. What did you think of him tonight that keyed his offense? And then what's the theme of his game like when he's playing well this year?
I think he does a good job, Scotty, just trying to kind of figuring out what the defense gives him. Some games it's been spot-up threes. Tonight I thought he did a really, really good job of beating people off the bounce. Again, in that trail spot, and maybe there were some harder closeouts to take away his threes, and then he just went to – and he's got an incredible long stride to the rim and covers a lot of space in very few dribbles.
Eric, Nick hits that first three, not a shock, but how good was it to see that? And just everybody's been – obviously it's been a long wait for him to get back on the court for you. Just how good was it to see him out there playing like, he can play? And where do you – expect him to go from here? Because obviously that's just a starting point, really.
Yeah, I think Nick will just keep getting better. He'll keep getting more comfortable. His teammates will understand his tendencies. But I think with any player, He was disappointed last game. That his expectations of his first game were different than what happened, and he told me that, and I told him that I'm a little older, and I knew that the first game, when you have a player that's been injured, it's not easy the first game.
You're going to add to something. And then you mentioned depth a minute ago.
Usually we're on better.
I'm sorry. Is this the deepest team you've coached, or where does the depth on this team maybe – I know it's early, but where does it so far anyway, in your mind, rank with other teams you've coached on the college level?
Yeah, I mean, for sure it's the deepest team just because, there's number one, from a number standpoint, we always had 4 transfers that sat out, and in that first year, that was at Nevada, obviously, and then here, Connor and JD sat out that first year, and we had an open scholarship, I think, the first 2 years that I was here, and some guys sitting out, and so I think for sure from a depth standpoint, we probably the deepest team I've ever had. Yes.
Hey, Coach, you talk about how connected you guys were today. Do you think you really saw a glimpse of when you guys were putting this roster together, what this team could really be today?
I think so. I mean, it's one game, and we're played at home, and we had a great crowd. So, with the crowd and the enthusiasm and anticipation of a full roster, I think that, it was going to be a game that a road team would really have to play well. But I think from a chemistry standpoint, and from the team getting along, I mean, we had I don't know if the players talked about it, but we had probably our 3 shortest practices since I've been coaching college this week. Because I thought they were focused and getting along and connected, and as a group we continue to get closer and closer.
Up Graham a couple of times. He was an all-conference player in the Pac-12, hasn't played a whole lot. How has he handled that at practice and mentally and everything, and could he be playing himself into maybe some more minutes moving forward?
Well, for sure, Hutch, that his practice habits this week were the best since he's been here, and so without discussing it with anyone, I felt like coming into the game, if I did not reward him with some minutes, it would be unfair, because we got those things that we wear, and you can look at the energy that they, how many jumps they do and all that stuff. And he had his best week. And so I'm glad that he got an opportunity to play when the game was in the balance and played well. Because he's a really good interior passer. He's got an incredible soft floater. He's really effective against zones. From an offensive standpoint, right in that middle hot spot that we call it. And then, I don't know, I think he took at least 1 charge. 2. Wow. I didn't expect that.
Usually you maybe go 7.5 guys deep. How hard is it to maybe get all these pieces minutes like that? What's that challenge like?
I mean, I can tell you in the first half I felt discombobulated a little bit trying to get guys in, but I got to maybe adapt a little bit as well, and every game kind of changes too. Like I just told the team that I have no idea what's going to transpire on Tuesday. Just like I didn't walk into the building thinking that Jalen we were going to run 5 straight plays for him, and I wanted to get him in the game based on how hard he practiced, but did not know that we would be going at a really good shot blocker and punching that ball into Jalen, but he had bounce to his game, and he had a quickness advantage. So again, I have no idea which way we're going to kind of wind up on Tuesday.
Ricky and Anthony have handled such a big scoring load for you. With Nick playing a bigger role tonight, how'd you see those guys handle that dynamic with a big scorer in the lineup?
I thought they were great. I mean, to me, it looked like a team that had a lot of fun. Looked like a team that really enjoyed playing with each other tonight. Looked like a team that shared the ball. I think that's the one thing. When you have a talented team, is are you willing to share it, let the game come to you? And I thought those three guys, because Ricky's wired to score, AB can score it. We saw that when Nick was out. I mean, AB really rose to the occasion because we needed points. And Anthony, as well as most of, like, defensively, we keep getting a little bit better as well.
Evo, of course, wasn't on the court on Monday. Trevin said not having him on the court was just weird, but you had him back tonight. Just what do you think about that?
Yeah, he had great days of practice. He was happy, had bounce to his step. And, he just kind of, he could just kind of just roll out there and compete, I'd probably give him a little bit more freedom than other guys, especially defensively. He'll kind of randomly switch stuff, and I won't know what he's doing, and he kind of gets to the right spot and creates havoc. So I thought we did miss him the other night, and I think everybody was happy to get him back.
A play where Jordan went up for a shot, kind of looked like he got fouled, but he didn't, and then he runs down the court, gets a steal. Just what do you think of that play and just his motor overall throughout the season so far?
Yeah, I think the crowd, at Bud Walton feeds off extra effort plays, and obviously for a player to go hard to the rim, have contact, no foul, and then get back in the play and then make a play. That was a great energy effort play.
But do you remember ever having a point guard that you had called for goaltending before?
I don't think so.
That might have been a first. and then you talked the other night about some guys being on Maui time. I'm thinking maybe Trevin was on Maui time. He was on Arkansas time tonight. Do you think maybe he was just a little out of sorts and just kind of got back to himself tonight? Yeah,
I thought again, his game off the bounce and his energy was phenomenal. And that was the first time I've been to Maui, and it does take its toll just because of the time change and then your sleep patterns. And he looked like he was well rested tonight. All right, thanks everybody.